Guess we better just start then. Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned Albino. It shares his final thoughts on Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. We just finished the series yesterday. And, thoughts on... Yeah, okay. So, I got my talking points right here. Whether or not they will be incredibly helpful is to be decided. Okay, so, the plot is better, but I care less about the characters. Overall, 2 is better than 1. Taking into account the desensitization that occurs after you've already played a Danganronpa game. So, I think Danganronpa 2 is a better story than the first one. I think the murders are a little better, also. Like, trying to figure stuff out, what was going on, I think that's a little better. And, but you care less about the characters. Here's the thing, like the oh, no, excuse me, don't press circle. I was trying to like run it doesn't matter. You know, I'm here at like the first scene of where you get free range of cursor movement just so I can like distract myself by outlining palm trees and shit. But, yep, seagulls. And, yeah. So the thing that, like, I think desensitization is, like, a really important part of, like, what's different, like, what you need to take into account when you judge this game. When you first start Danganronpa 1, if it's, like, your first experience with Danganronpa, you don't know anything about it yet, then everything that happens is, like, shocking, because it's, like, I've never experienced anything like this before. But then you get into Danganronpa 2, and you've got expectations. You didn't have expectations with the first game, you have expectations in this game. And what they do is they just sort of cloud your ability to, you know, be filled with a sense of wonder and awe-inspired. So everything just sort of hits you a little softer than it would have if you hadn't already played a game before this. But, yes. So taking that into account, I felt less playing this game than I did the first one, but I still think 2 is a better game, because I'm like going into my own head like, well, if I never played and like then I did all this, how would I have reacted to certain things? And I think that this has more powerful moments than the first one does, with a couple exceptions. But yeah, like there was never anything that like made me like well up or anything in this game. Whereas, like, you know, like I streaked a little out of my eyes when... Well, that doesn't sound soft at all. That sounds like I was bawling. But no. Like, there was a little sprinkler system activated in my... No, that's still, like, too much. I shed a tear when, like, Hifumi died, right? In the first game. And I didn't really care about him that much, but just the moment with, like, Aoi leaning over him and seeing her, quote-unquote, despair... That's what set me off, and also, like, doing it helped. But, yeah. The only really thing well, I don't want to jump ahead to a different talking point, so we're going in order. Okay, so we've got, didn't like Fuyuhiko at all in the beginning until Peiko died. I never really felt anything for any of the characters except him, which is weird. But it's true. Like, Fuyuhiko at the beginning is just like an asshat, just like a posturing child baby. Just like, I'll fucking do it, I can kill anyone. And like, you know, it's like annoying. And you can tell that it's, I'm not gonna say that it was forced, but like you could tell that it was like a stereotypical like, oh, well there needs to be like a problem child in the beginning, right? To sort of drive the fear forward, like, oh, something could happen, and if it does, all eyes are on this guy. Was he the one responsible for it? So yeah, he was kind of just more stereotypical in the beginning, and then they really fleshed out his character once Peiko died, and once that trial was happening, and his connection to her was revealed. As her being like his servant, or like family, like servant, or whatever. You know, like hired sword. Well, not hired, but, you know what I mean. Like an in-house mercenary. So, the fact, like, once she was being executed, which, by the way, that was the best execution. Peiko was the best execution. That was a great thing. when he like ran into the thick of it and like tried to, he wasn't trying to save her. He was just trying to go with her. You have to remember, it's not So, like, there's nothing he could have done. He just wanted to be with her like one last time. Like, these emotions were just now being revealed for the first time. Like, what her feelings for her master, where previously she, thought of herself as merely a tool. But, Fuyuhiko never thought of her that way. But she always thought of herself that way. So then it's like this first thing where the feelings are like reciprocated. Yeah, English. And so it becomes this big moment, and then Fuyuhiko's all injured, and then it seems like he's gonna die, but then Monokuma fixes him up. And then, like, what does he do to friggin', like, just even more elevate his awesomeness character? He goes fucking commits seppuku, or harikiri, whichever one is the one where they don't die afterwards. And, slices his stomach in shame, dishonor, whatever. Because again, like, he's not like directly responsible for Mahiru's death, but Peiko sort of takes an initiative of something that he would have wanted anyway, I imagine. Yeah. So, yeah, Fuyuhiko is pretty much the only character I felt anything for. And then we did all the, like, hope fragments for him. Like, that, that was, I don't really care about that at all. Like, we had, like, a bro ceremony, like, gay. And then he gave me his underwear, and that's obviously the most hetero thing that's ever happened to me. Okay, what else do we have? Glad Teru was killed early, but the worst character in Danganronpa 2 is probably Mikan. So, yeah, Teru was pretty much insufferable. Like, I could do his voice pretty good before he went all Cajun, but even that, when he went all, he didn't really have any Cajun lines that weren't just spoken by him, so there's no, like, chance for me to do it. Also, you guys didn't see that if you just watched my series, because that trial was erased because of stupid capture card issues that are fixed now. It's great. But, yeah, that's right, I gotta take that into account. You guys you don't know On the Meat Bone. Meat on the Bone, like, that is basically a meme because of how stupid that is. Which is the final thing that puts Teru in his coffin in terms of him being the one that killed Byakuya. So, yeah, he was just like, he's just a disgusting perv. And then, like, once he died, they sort of had Kazuichi replace him as that, with like, his obsession with Sonya, which, it was less directly disgusting, which I guess was nice, but also I think it made Kazuichi a little more annoying. Yeah. Oh yeah, but Mikan's the worst character because of just her archetype in general is just, it's so tried and true and cliche and whatever. But she's just I can't handle low self-esteem. And hers is such a cartoony level of fucking ridiculous that it just pissed me off to no end. I was counting the days until she died one way or another. But then it was interesting when she got, found out as the killer, because the despair disease reverted her back. I clocked in on this on, like, the last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago. I clocked in on, like, where it was, like, the despair disease reverted her back to her ultimate despair. Or her despair remnant form. Right? Like, when she was freaking out, like, being evil and stuff, like, she was under the Junko's influence and whatnot. And then the person she was talking about loving, and this was confirmed in a comment also, was the person she talked about, like, being in love with that she could finally see again was Junko. The ultimate despair, because of the way that it, like, affects her and everything. So she reverted back to ultimate despair remnant. That's how she then killed people. And yeah, so, I guess that was interesting for her. But also, she was still just a garbage fire to sift through every time her character came up. Moving on down, we've got Byakuya as the ultimate imposter is kind of like Mukuro from the first game when it comes to dying too soon before we realize what an interesting character they could have been. So you gotta wonder if, they'll do what they did with Danganronpa although I guess if they would have, if they were gonna, they would have already. But it's like they do like an alternate history where the ultimate imposter survives and then gets to tell his story. Just like they're doing with Mukuro, which I am going to read that, by the way. I will do that on camera. Because I like to read. I like to read out loud. I think performance-wise, I do a pretty good job of it. I think if I proved anything with Danganronpa, it's that I'm a lively reader. Yeah. Ultimate Imposter... Did I have more to say about that? I heard that, like, if you have Man's Nut... you get to, because the man's nut's supposed to play in throughout the entire story, but it only did it for one scene for me with the Mahiru Hyoko shower thing, which that was weird, but also, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. But apparently, like, if you had man's nut, you get Byakuya the imposter to, like, confess his life to you before he dies. I haven't seen that. I didn't have the man's nut at that point. But maybe I should look up that scene. But... yeah. And, like, they reveal the imposter's, like, actual voice and stuff at the very, very end. It's, like, just this throwaway reveal. Which was kind of lost on me a little bit. But, you know, it's alright. It's a joke, I guess. I did not like almost any of the surviving cast. In contrast to Danganronpa 1, where, like, you know, Aoi is best girl, and she lives. Kyoko, you know, is fine. She lives. Byakuya is... I don't like him, but he's fine, and he lives. The reason I don't like Byakuya is because of one scene in that game. It's only one scene. It's the library scene where he goes fucking me versus the world to everybody. And it's all like, yeah, you know, don't pretend that, like, people friends or whatever. I don't even, like, want to do his voice right now, because I don't want to... I don't like him because of that. He was just so cocky and, like, arrogant about being like, I'm gonna make it through this and you're all gonna die. And, like, it's because it's so... I could like him before that, because it's like, you know, he's arrogant, but, like, he's not naive about it. But then he goes into the library and it shouldn't have worked out for him. Somebody should have fucking murdered him right away after he did that. But they didn't, and that's based on luck. It's not because of how cool or calculating Byakuya is. It's just luck that nobody decided to murder him after he was such a fucking asshole. For its stupid just scene that unfolded that entire time. But that's D1. We're talking about D2 right now. Oh, yeah. Still didn't like, almost. Yeah, right. Who else lived? Yeah, oh, I hated Yasuhiro. He lived. But, you know. Let's see, was Yasuhiro... Oh, yeah, I hated Toko. She lived. But, you know, 6 people lived from the first game. I liked 2 of them. Makoto, right? That counts, I guess. Oh, yeah, Makoto's whatever. You know, you're not supposed to feel any particular way about him. So of the non-Makoto characters, I liked 2 of them. I liked Aoi, I liked Kyoko. Here, the only one I liked is Fuyuhiko, because Kazuichi's annoying, and Sonya's... she doesn't really do anything for me. Akane is basically Yasuhiro in terms of just dumb, like, plotless character. Just no reason for existing. And then, who else lived? There was only 5 of us, so it was me, Hajime, Fuyuhiko, Kazuichi, Akane, Sonya. Oh yeah, that's it. So yeah, there's just not much pickings to choose from in terms of that. So it's kind of disappointing, you know? Like, all your favorite characters died, basically, in this game. Yeah. I talked about this when it happened, but also, Ibuki not being able to play for shit kind of pissed me off and betrayed my emotions and literally made me not care when she died. When she was doing that Titty Typhoon performance of just the worst music in the world, and it's like, whatever, she's a free spirit, she gets to redefine chords and notes and melodies, but like, no, she's the ultimate musician, and that's the shit that happens? No. No. Then this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, they weren't appreciated in their time. Like 50 years ago, we're gonna look back and Ibuki's gonna be such a genius. No, she's a fucking idiot. And I'm also a musician. I felt betrayed. I felt just the way I felt was betrayed. I thought we had some sort of camaraderie, some kinship going on there with our shared mutual taste. And she just went and took a shit on the stage and then died immediately afterwards, and I was like, you know what, good riddance, because you're dead to me as soon as you played the first note on that guitar. Nagito is without question the best character in the game, right? I really just don't think you can refute that at all. Nagito was the most centralizing, polarizing character, and he drove the entire thing forward without fail at every turn. You couldn't have this game without Nagito. So, like previously, when he first transformed into like insane Nagito, like I didn't really feel either way about it. I didn't really, it wasn't like a huge reveal to me. It's just like, oh, we got a crazy person. But just the more it goes on, the more like you rely on him, and you know that it has to be him that drives the plot forward. And then when he kills himself, which this is the next talking point. This is actually like a big moral quandary, or like philosophical, just like plot device. Like this is sort of like a choose your own adventure, like about what you think of Nagito's character in the end. Did Nagito kill himself to wipe out ultimate despair, or did he do it to fulfill Junko's designs to take over the dead avatars and re-upload into the bodies? The question stems from, what did he know? What all was in that file? There were pieces of that file that he destroyed. What did he find out inside of it? Did he figure out Junko's whole plan? Did he figure out that we were all remnants of ultimate despair? And the knowledge that he has would 100% dictate his actions and just his moral ambiguity. Because, like, even in that one scene where he's talking to Izuru Kamakura, us, which we don't know that it's us at that point, but, like, he's got Junko's arm, like, on his thing. And because of that, that means that's his ultimate despair form. Like, he knows that he's ultimate despair if he's got, because he's not his avatar, he's his real life person who has the limb missing that has the Junko's arm on it. So, while he's talking to that, he's just talking about how much he hates Junko. How much she's like an enemy of hope and stuff. So he still has like his hope mentality, but then he's also still ultimate despair. So like even he was kind of corrupted, but I don't know. I'm confused, like his pre-Avatar self, if he was like really like, if he was some kind of like undercover agent, like no, I doubt that. But if he really bought into the whole ultimate despair thing, in terms of being one himself, but he's supposed to be like the ultimate hope and whatever. The way that he combats despair at all times. So that's kind of contradictory to me. But then, if he knew that we were all ultimate despair, did he set up the perfect murder to kill all of us because he's trying to be the ultimate hope? He wanted to end Junko, he wanted to end the ultimate despair, so he wanted to get all of us killed by setting up the impossible murder. So that, and then the only person that would survive was the member of the Future Foundation, who wasn't the traitor per se, but just someone who was trying to help also stop ultimate despair, so then he would side with them, with Chiaki and Usami and whatever. So do you think he takes like that sort of noble route mentally to end ultimate despair, or do you think he figures out everything? He figures out that Junko does like an alter ego stuff, and like what her plan is to upload her consciousness into everybody's dead bodies. So does then he try to kill everybody so that Junko can possess everyone? It's kind of open-ended. I don't know that there's really a distinct answer, unless they touch on it in some other like fiction or story that I've not read yet. Or there was more information that I'm not privy to. But it's worth thinking about if it is in fact open-ended. What kind of person was Nagito at the very end when he learned what we all were? Oh yeah, this one is very self-indulgent, but I could be Gundam. If there was a Danganronpa 2 live action thing like they're doing it with Death Note. They could do it with Danganronpa. I could see it work. If there was a Danganronpa 2 live action thing, you gotta make me Gundam. You do. Like in the very first part, right, I did just this stupid, ridiculous voice for Gundam. Because I was like, I don't care what you sound. But then, like, you know, when his trial comes out, as his character gets more fleshed out, like, I started to realize that, like, oh, I can actually just do his voice, like, pretty good. I can pretty well encapsulate, like, what he's got going on. And then, like, you know, some of you might not know what I look like, but my facial structure resembles him a little bit. Just, like, in terms of shape. Like, just, like, the shape of my head. Like, it looks different because of my hair, but... Like, if you dressed me up to look like Gundam, I would look like Gundam. Also, I can talk like Gundam, so what I'm saying is, Danganronpa 2 live action, make me Gundam. I can do it. Make me send in an audition tape. I don't give a shit, I'll prove it. Or you can just watch, like, the episode, rewatch the episode where I'm his trial, and he gets convicted and whatever, and then watch me just fall directly into his voice, and it sounds good. You know, if you're in performance, if you're in entertainment, you have to be able to talk yourself up and believe in yourself, or else you're not going to get anywhere, because who would believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? You know, it's not cockiness or nothing, it's just you have to be confident in your own abilities. Yeah, his shtick got kind of annoying for me, like, you know, just talking about, like, being the ultimate destruction or whatever, the 4 Dark Devas, and, you know, the powers that be, got kind of annoying. But also, like, he proved that he's not full of shit. He actually, like, has abilities like that. Because his execution, he drew a freaking crop circle, and then became a giant floating spirit head, and then said goodbye to his hamsters and died. And then went off to wherever people like him go when they're dead, and they do a little incantation before a bunch of animals run at him. So, I don't know, I guess it was validated. Okay, so after that, we've got Chiaki was D2GD waifu, sure, right? And she's kind of set up to be. Like, she's kind of like the Sayaka of this game, except that, you know, her death comes a lot later. Or maybe she's more like the Kyoko of this game. It's hard to tell. She does, like, help move investigations forward, but Nagito's more like the Kyoko of this game, I would say. Yeah. But relationships as a whole just seem less important in this game. And maybe it just comes down to, like, caring less about the characters as a whole and the desensitization thing, because it's like, do you dare form relationships with people that you know might die? Like, do you put yourself out there and, you know, really try and, like, give a shit about anyone who's could be dead in a half hour? But also, like, I feel like there was just less free time than in the first game. Although maybe there was more, because I did fill out... I maxed out, like, 3 different people's hope fragments. I don't think I did that in the first game. But also, it was just, like, when we were in the funhouse, like, I tried to free time so many people, but they were just unavailable. Like, maybe you should wait till we get out of the house, then I want to talk. But... So, well, I mean, I guess that's what shoehorned me into Fuyuhiko, so it's not like the free time was wasted. I don't know, it's just, it seems like the relationship building took a backseat to the story. Which isn't a bad thing. But, I guess that's what happened. So... Oh yeah, and because of that, I you know, and also because of, like, light spoiler, thanks to a certain somebody, I knew that Chiaki was gonna die, or at least something was gonna happen to her during that trial. And so, like, when she actually did, and when I actually saw it, like, it was tough to watch, but I still didn't really feel that much, and I was kind of disappointed in myself. Because, like, how dare I betray her feelings? You know, we maxed out our hopes fragments things. It was supposed to be me and her till the end of time, and then she got crushed by a Tetris block, and I was like, eh. Okay, after that, Junko's endgame in this game was better than the last one, I would say. I think she like, in the first game, she sets up, like, just the whole aspect of, like, the killing school life is, in itself, like, such a great plot device, and it's a great ultimate despair setup. But in this game, she defied all expectations and even moved it forward, because in this game, she had a clearer goal. there were more, because like in the first game, the tragedy like already happened. Like the damage is done. You know, if Junko lives or dies, it doesn't really change anything in the first game, because she doesn't really have like a plan that's actionable at the moment. There's nothing really at stake. But here, if, you know, you let Junko go free, she inhabits the bodies of your friends, she goes out, causes more ultimate despair. You know, because, like, she's dead in the second game, but she could come back if you lose to her. So those are way higher stakes. And then also she, you know, she desecrates your friends' memories and stuff, like takes over the bodies and whatnot. So, and that would be tough to deal with. So I think I can definitively say that the second game's got higher stakes, it's got a better plot device at the end. Okay. And then I will, oh yeah, I think I will read Danganronpa if on camera. That's right, that was a talking point, and then I said it like half an hour ago, also. But yeah, I want to do it, and I can do it, and so I shall. Then, oh yeah, there's two more. This is one of my favorite series I've ever done, because I love just reading like stuff like that. This is just like performance art, essentially, at this point. I don't know, like... And yeah, I hope I get popular in the Danganronpa community with Danganronpa V3. Because that'll be a new game, people will be flocking to YouTube to like find a series to watch it if they're not playing it themselves. And I hope it's me! I don't know who else is like doing Danganronpa games, like series, and among them, I don't know who's like actually like putting their heart into it. I don't, or like, are they like performing it like I am, or are they just like, oh my god, Chiaki's dead. No, this can't be happening. Like, is there feeling? Is there emotion? Are they performing the game like I am? And if they are, then, you know, great. They got popular, they deserve it if they're doing it that way. But, you know, move over people who were just like bare bones reading it just to play the game. Cause I'm here giving it my all, right? So like D3, you're looking for a playthrough on it, look no further than Sunburned Albino. Tell your friends who are looking for it. Tell your friends who maybe settled for lackluster playthroughs of Danganronpa games. No, you gotta come check out Sunburned Albino, cause he does it. We out here. You know, doing it. So, yeah, I really like doing the series, so thanks everybody for watching it. And then the last thing, AMA in the comments for a couple weeks. No spoilers of future games. Because apparently Danganronpa 3, the anime, has like been out for a while and the people watch it, so it's the same story. Don't tell me what that is, obviously, because I'm going to play the game, and that's how I will know how things work, and that's exactly how it should be, because the game's way more detailed than the anime all the time. So I'm excited to have that be my first experience with it. Yeah. But, like, ask me anything that I didn't touch on here about what I thought of Danganronpa 2. No spoilers for, like, Ultra Despair Girls or D3. I am going to play Ultra Despair Girls. Probably not on camera, but I'll look into it. Yeah. And I say for a couple weeks just because, like, if you're still, like, putting stuff in the AMA in the first game, like, I just don't get notifications for that anymore. So I haven't checked it, and if there's probably unanswered questions. But yeah, I'm on hand for a couple weeks to answer whatever, because I love this game a lot, and I love answering the questions of the people that are doing it. So if you got them, put them in. I'll answer them for shizzle. Unless I already answered them in this video and you like skipped over this part and then just asked a question that I answered in here, then I will respectfully and very logically ignore that. But, you know, that's gonna do it for this thing, the final thoughts. I'm excited for September. Gonna play the third game, gonna do a final thoughts of that game. Oh, it's gonna be fun. What if I become like the premier Danganronpa destination for people who want like a super voiced, like into it playthrough? Like, wouldn't that be something? That would be for me. That would make me extremely joyful. So, do what you can to, I don't know what I expect of anybody, but hopefully just like YouTube's algorithm makes me real searchable when that's happening, I guess. But yeah, I'll see, you know, AMA in the comments, not like on Twitter or nothing. Yeah, we're like confine it to this video, but the game was great, and I loved it, and I'm gonna love the third one. And yeah, like, share, and subscribe and whatnot. I will see you guys next time.